Okay. This is how simple life is. A lot of people don't figure this out ever. Okay. I was never a high paid trainer because I explained it correctly. I was a high paid trainer because I would call them fat and ugly pieces of shit. And I used to find the guy who would cuck my client. I would find his Instagram in the gym. So he'd have a crush he's talking to, like everyone at the sports club I worked at, right? He'd have a crush here. Her crush would talk to the bodybuilder. This guy's trying to get fit for the crush. I would psychologically spend all my time figuring out who my client's adversary was, and every time he was off diet, I would bring up photos of his rival, and I'd be like, the guy's shitting on you. And men hate that shit. Men fucking hate that shit. Like, they go hard on the diet if you keep doing that to them. And my coach used to do that with my rival. He'd be like, dude, he'd be like, yo, Zherka, you at 6 weeks out, the guy looks 1 week out. Like, you're not going to make it. And I'm like, oh, yeah? Up the fucking trend, bro. Look at this. Okay. I don't know what static you're talking about, dude. Check it out. This is how easy life really is. Look at this. Protein, carbs, fats, right? Per gram, fats carry more calories, right? They're calorically dense. That's why they're called fat, right? But now check it out. Check it out. Check it out. In life, all you have to do is find out, are you a better entrepreneur with higher sugars and carbs, or lower sugars and carbs and higher fat diet, right? If you have better workouts with this higher fat diet, protein kind of always stays the same, like 1 gram per pound body weight, which is still a lot if you think about it, but whatever. But to be a high functioning human, you just have to figure out which diet it is that's bloating you, right? And then it's not diets, but right. And when you figure out, hey, I don't feel good with high carbs, you actually make more money. Your workouts are better. You look better, right? So now where you get in trouble is when you go to McDonald's, right? Because McDonald's is serving your caveman desires. So cavemen, they had 3 things that it was very scarce in caveman times, right? Sodium, fats, and sugar, right? They were starving to death. What is McDonald's known for? Sodium, fat, and sugar, right? That bread isn't as great as you think, dude. Now check it out. Check it out. Check it out. If you were to just keep eating McDonald's every day, like you are right now, fat ass, but you started omitting the bun from your sandwiches, maybe what I used to do, I used to take off the top bun of every sandwich I ordered, right? Because I was so broke that I knew exactly what I was going to buy. I started taking off the top bun for 2 weeks, right? And yeah, slimmed down, right? It's a big difference, right? Even your activity increases when you're not bloated on fucking high carb foods and shit, right? Then I deleted the French fries. So I said, if I'm going to be a fat ass, I'll get something more nutritiously dense, like those chicken wraps and shit. And then eventually I took out McDonald's completely because I said I want to go pro. But McDonald's is high in carbs and fats, right? And that's the problem. That is the problem. You can't go high carb if your calories are high. You can go high carb if you're hitting maintenance. No trainer on earth has a problem with that, right? Nobody. If I gave you a high carb diet, you wouldn't even bloat if you're hitting maintenance calories. But if you're eating over your maintenance and it's high carb, you're going to bloat, gain water, get sleepy, have shittier workouts. It's a like 1 + 1 = 10 fail at life. It's horrible, right? I eat a lot of carbs, right? But I do a lot of things to stuff it, right? I've never ordered a burger and ate both buns. I didn't even do it today. I also like to fast. hardcore. And that's why sometimes you tune into my streams and I'm up 20 pounds. And right now I'm down like 20 pounds and look a little slimmer on the face. And a lot of that is water, right? And you're like, well, if it's water and not fat, it's not a big deal, John. No, it is a big deal. You can't be bloated and having workouts. Your workouts are suffering because of it, right? So a lot of people think, oh, I'm bloated, therefore it's going to damage my workout 5%. No, it's not. It's going to damage your workout 40%, right? My take on fasting, everyone should be doing it, right? Everyone should. If you're a natural lifter and you're bulking, you can still fast. Yes, it's possible, right? If you're a natural lifter, you're focusing on strength adaptations. You're not really the scale. You know, if you're on hormones, then, you know, you're on it's pretty much puberty time and you need calories. Not gonna lie, keto makes me think better. I've met a bunch of people who say they're sharper between the ears with keto. Then do keto. If you're a businessman and you've got a quota to hit, do keto, bitch. If you think better on keto, if you're more creative, a better YouTuber, or whatever the fuck you're doing, yeah, go keto. Who cares about your gains, right? You think when you're 40 years old, you're gonna have the same drive and ambition? Don't cuck your business to have 5 more pounds of, what is it? Like a pump? It's not even muscle. You fucking naturals always look pathetic. Right? There's like one good natural and a million fucking garbage looking idiots like this guy.
This one. I don't love that post, man. He's being real definitive, and, you know, we just don't, it's not a one size fits all, you know?
That's the truest shit ever. It's not a one size fits all. Every fitness you do, it should be illegal to not start with this intro for a fitness channel. Think of your friend in high school who ate McDonald's and had a 6-pack. You're not that guy. So stop doing what he's doing. Stop doing his workouts. Stop following his diet advice. Stop it. It's not a one size fits all at all. Okay? I'm not saying I'm a fascist, but I would split PE classes in genetics, right? Overweight kids on this side, medium kids here, fit kids here, extremely athletic kids here, and I'd make them compete around their own genetic circles, right? That way, when a kid goes, hey, this diet's working for me and I'm part of the fat group, but now I'm going to the mid group, yeah, people are going to follow that fat kid. But if the fat kid is listening to the fucking shredded Chad that's just genetically had, you know, is a gift from God, then he'll always feel like shit and he'll never make it, right? Another thing about fitness that I hate, nobody understands what I'm saying with this because they're stupid. Those fat people on The Biggest Loser, what's that show called? The Biggest Loser? You know that show where it's like a fat guy and he's like working so hard? Let me Google it. Is it this one? Yeah, this show, The Biggest Loser, right? Where the guy will lose like 100 pounds, right? Okay. I swear to God, Canute will hate me for saying this, and so will everyone in chat, but you're just not smart enough to get it. This fat fucking guy on top of me, this fat ass, I swear to God, he works way harder than Mr. Olympia. I swear to God. I swear to God, Greek God X works harder than Phil Heath. I swear to God. When Dylan, no, all these bodybuilders attack me when I say this. You have no idea how hard Greek God X worked. You have no idea, dude. Right? Greek God X was fat as fuck, bro. This was like Adderall changed him, yeah? Look how fat he was. He was a fat... Look at this, bro. Look at Greek, right? And now he's a stud. Now it's this guy here, right? When I met him, he was this guy. Okay? Bodybuilders only work hard, right? It's perceived they work hard because, one, if they fuck up their diet, nothing happens. If a regular dude like Greek fucks up his diet, it sets him back a week. He gets depressed and keeps fucking it up. For good genetic people, nothing sets them back. They just don't progress. That means do you know how easy dieting is, knowing you can't take steps back in your physique? That's the easiest shit on earth. That means they take diet breaks. But these fat fucks aren't allowed a break because it'll take such a hit on their mental that they'll gain 20 pounds and start all over. Phil Heath playing basketball, you expect him to look like a fucking skinny basketball player? Look at him. No, playing basketball doesn't make you that muscular. It's never going to make you that muscular. I don't care if it's just anaerobic sprints you have to do and then they sit you down. Nothing on earth will make you as muscular as this guy. You could take roids and you won't achieve his natural look. You're telling me this guy has trouble dieting? This guy, if he eats a cheeseburger, nothing happens to him. You know how easy it is to go to the gym when you look like the best dude in there? Look at his genetics. That's why I think PE class is kind of fucked up, right? They'll put this guy in next to Greek God X, and they'll be like, well, Greek is just eating too many Cheetos. Have you never lived with a high genetic person, like someone with good genetics? I lived with my older brother and all he ate was Nutella. And everyone thought he was on roids at like 14. This guy won't even jaywalk. He's so straight edge, military guy, right? He had an 8-pack at 15, right? And not a regular 8-pack, the one that pushes out, like those, the ones that you, for like cover models. And as a child, that traumatized me. I'm like, how can he eat chips all day and have an 8-pack? And my twin brother and I would look at each other and be like, what the fuck? But dude, the whole world is convinced we're all born with this on an equal playing field. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Right? So when Nick says, it's not one size fits all, that's the best shit you could hear. Okay? The only thing that makes me feel like a snake is when I thought it was just about hard work and I never thought of genetics, when I was as stupid as all of you, it took me really far. When I thought that if I just keep eating and working out, I'll turn to this, it took me really far in my fitness journey. Like that ignorance. But none of my friends went far because they all gave up from being frustrated. Right? So I don't want to take anyone's like fuel away from them. But I was also not an idiot. I would only look at fitness models with my measurements, right? Or bodybuilders with my measurements, which is another thing nobody does. You have 5'5" guys looking at 6'4" bodybuilders, and you've got 6'4" guys looking at 5'5" bodybuilders, right? You know, even if your stats are identical to someone, his muscle bellies genetically are in different places, so his biceps might just peak better than yours. That's why you have to become a true narcissist and enjoy what you have and build what you have. Because, bro, you spend your time on the internet or looking at magazines, you lose your mind. I lost my mind, right? And I met all these guys. They're all midgets. I was like, damn, what the fuck was I tripping about? Right. Look at this. Natural bodybuilder. Steven Destiny, who's considered the smartest guy ever. I can't find the picture. I can't find the pic. I'm not trying to make him look bad. So, does anyone have the pic he posted? I think I have it on our Discord messages. Hold on. I just want to show you what a smart guy like Destiny thinks is naturally achievable. Just to show you that, you know, the smartest people in our society are deluded. Oh, I found it. Look at this. Destiny of Twitch, now YouTube, sent me this photo and said in 6 to 8 months he's going to look like this guy. Because I was making the argument you can't have a bodybuilder silhouette naturally. You can look fit, but you can't actually have the silhouette. Silhouette meaning if the sun was behind him and he was just a shadow, the bumps around his arms are going to show his neck, right? So he said 6 to 8 months. I forgot what he said. It was probably even worse, right? I'm trying to make him look less retarded. Most of society thinks this is a natural physique just because he's under bright lights. You know, the lighting is bad for him. Had to be trolling. It was a 4-hour debate. And his chat turned on him for the first time ever and laughed at him. They omega lulled him hard. And he just doubled down. I don't know why he did that. Canute was just as fucking confused. Canute's like, no, not really, but no one will say it. That's why no one will ever say it definitively because they don't want to seem like the black-pilled friend. Okay? First of all, this kid is not natural, right? But he has no maturity in his face because he just started, right? After durations, right? Longer durations on steroids, you age on the face, right? But a good way to, you know, show if someone's natural or not is if it looks like a man's body on a boy's face, right? That's how you know it's a new gearhead. Yeah. I remember when I was, I think, in high school, I said, this is natural, right? You know, naturally, the only person who can get here is the guy who's already close to this in high school. And if in high school you were close to this, right, then I'd say you can fine-tune it with a good trainer and a 12-month long, slow diet. You can fine-tune it. But even that pump and fullness, I don't think you're achieving that, right? Because when a natural gets lean, those veins don't look like that. It doesn't look like the muscle bellies are being fed at all. It actually looks very flat. But now think of this. If Destiny's one of the smartest guys and he thinks this is naturally possible, what does the average person think about fitness? You know? That made me think that it's like, dude, not only does everyone think the earth is round, they also think that they can turn into Phil Heath. Like, humans are a lot dumber than animals. Right? Because an animal will know it cannot take on a lion. But the human doesn't know. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, you know. But yeah, if I had to Destiny sounds dumb with fitness. No, it's not Destiny's fault. Canute he's got some advice and da da da. But if you ask someone with good genetics like Canute, right, about what's achievable naturally, he genuinely doesn't know. You have to ask people with shitty genetics. Canute thinks anything is possible because he did it. You know what I mean by that? It's like if you're a boxer with KO power, you think everyone has it. You're like, oh, you just trained to it. I remember when I didn't have KO power. No, dude. No. No, you're an idiot. Well, no, I wasn't knocking people out until I, was 4 years into boxing. There's people 8 years into boxing who don't have KO power, right? There's pillow hands out there. Okay? And those people impress me. Like Israel Adesanya, he doesn't have it, right? He doesn't have KO power at all. But he finds angles to fuck up Costa. He's like a genius. So to me, that's more impressive. That if you can make your weaker genetics that good, that you're, champ, to me, that's very impressive. What's your strongest point of argument for Flat Earth? I don't even talk about Flat Earth, right? And, bro, honestly, the only thing that ever tripped me up about Flat Earth was that thing I posted on Twitter. But you wouldn't get it. It's a Joker thing. You wouldn't get it. There's no point. You're going to spend the rest of your life thinking this is possible naturally and Mars rover.
He goes over that stuff that we found in my energy drink. I like this one, fake olive oil.
80% of the extra virgin olive oil in the grocery store is fake. What is
This is my most hated fitness influencer. Genetically, he's an ectomorph. His market is fat Americans. Every fat American wants to look like him, right? They don't want to be too muscular. They just want to look like him, right? He is such a weasel, right? He is telling you how to be lean when he's never been fat before, right? I guarantee you he's been, a little milky, but he's never actually been round, right? That's actually why I hate when people like Greek God X don't get into fitness, right? I don't judge you on how great your physique is. I judge you on how shit it was in the beginning. That's what I'm judging, right? If it looks like you're a different human being, then to me, I go, whoa, you're really battling your genetics here. That's impressive. But if Ninja's giving me health advice on, hey, don't be fat, why? Why am I listening to you? Some guy in chat said, is Athlean X natty? Dude, athletes are so competitive, they'll do anything to be on the algorithm on top of their fitness rivals. You think this guy is natural? Yeah, Zherka, have you experienced a fat existence? I've been fat. I've never been round. But I only gained popularity in my city because of how out of shape I was to where I ended up. Right? That before Twitch, I was known for that, and then all my shit talking got me in trouble and people would try and fight me and shit. And then I started fucking people up. I was like, whoa. But I'm a bad example because I was never like Greek. Greek is a way better example than me. 5.3% body fat with fullness. Look, dude, the only humans who have ever achieved 5% body fat did it for 4 to 8 weeks. It's not sustainable. Every single diet you do has psychological trauma behind it. That's why a man dieting for 1 month eats junk food 2 months after that. It takes almost the same amount of trauma time, or sometimes double, to mentally get back to where you were. Okay? So if you're telling me you're walking around at 5% with nothing, And also, I don't even believe that's 5%. I guarantee you that's 7 to 8. I'll guarantee you. No, there's such little humans on Earth that. Do you know what a full 8-pack with psoriasis is? It's 10% body fat, right? It only looks better because these guys are on gear. But 10% is shredded. A lot of people think 10% is lean. No, 10% is shredded. Okay, that means every muscle is divided. People are very, very wrong about body fat because they use the calipers. You need to do a DEXA scan to get your. This guy's not 5%. With calipers, yeah, he's 5%. If he went into a DEXA, I've seen 5% from my Alberto Nunez was a DEXA scan 5%, and a 5% is a permaflex look. You know that, right? Like, look at this. Athlete X, he's flexing hard, right? At 5%, you don't flex, and the muscles are still separated. Do you know how lean that truly is, right? Now, if you have more muscle, this is what no one will ever understand. Check this out. Look at this. This is the most black-pilling shit about fitness. Because fitness... Check this out. Check this out. If you have one guy here, more muscle mass, less muscle mass. 10% body fat. Let's say 7% body fat. Guess who is going to look much leaner here? The answer will shock you. If there's two people here, this guy, and this guy's at 10% with more muscle, and this guy's at 7 with less muscle, this guy is going to look so much more shredded. So much more. Right? That's why people say build a good frame. Right? And it's easier to get down when you got a ton of muscle. But the info is so good, I just have to follow immediately. We never do fitness here, so unfollow. But yeah, hold up. Okay. Does anyone really believe that this is natural? Like... What kind of steroids are you buying in Mexico? I don't do steroids because I love hair, right? I grew up with Dragon Ball, and if I didn't have hair loss, I don't really give a fuck about my health that much. You know, I would probably be juicing my face off. That's why Derek and I are like very close, because we have the same kind of mindset. But I want to have hair on my head, you know. Another reason not to juice is I don't like my genetics in the competitive world, so I don't want to juice. I don't like breathing like it. I don't like sweating all day. I hate the libido. You think you want high libido? No, you don't. Yeah, Derek changed the fitness industry in the correct way. He's the only channel I'll ever... So I was supporting him before he even knew I had a channel. Before we were even sponsored. What's a manageable body fat percentage? See, again, that's the dumbest shit you could ever ask, right? You know what you're asking me? I'll just throw it back to you, okay? What's a manageable diet plan for you? What's a diet you could do year-round, right? And no, not you're brain fogged. I mean, like, you're a good businessman and you're doing everything correct, your libido is correct, everything's correct, right? When you figure that out, then you'll know. And it's kind of sad, right? I have a lot of businessmen come up to me and they go, John, I'm a better businessman at 15% body fat. I say, stay at 15% or compete. And they say, I don't want to compete. And then I say, then why are you trying to get down to 10? Why? To make less money? Oh, I just want to have abs. No. Listen, the more money you make, the easier it's going to be to maintain those abs. Trust me. You get a private chef cooking you lobster. You could stay in keto carb cycle throughout the week, and you won't even know you're dieting. Your life will be good. But if you get old and then you lose that fire to make money, which will happen, your priorities will change, then you're fucked with abs. You don't want to be fucked with abs. Right? Would this man, if he stopped juicing, would this man have abs? 100% he would. Right? He has great genetics, whatever this guy's name is. However, that Photoshop fullness look would not be there. Nunez is a natural pro, right? A lot of people attack me because I shill for him, they say. Because I knew these guys before, years ago. They helped me out. I loved natural bodybuilding before. Even Doug Miller I used to like. But and nobody even knows what natural bodybuilding is. I don't have one person in this chat who knows who Doug Miller is. And I don't think Doug is natural, but I think Berto is. Okay, so that guy claimed 5%. This is what a natural looks like. The broadness, the lack of traps, the flatness, only looking good after a gym pump. And he probably had some intra workout sugars like gummy bears or something to pump up. But this is what it looks like.
Yo, bro, how much a bench?
If this is 6%, how the fuck is this dude claiming 5%? Because he used calipers. If he did a DEXA scan, dude, Berto gets veiny on his ass. The male body does not rip off body fat from the ass. You know that, right? That's the last place it'll take from, right? And the difference from him and a starving man in a poor country, right? You see those starving people and they're not shredded, is this is a strategic starve with carbs, 12-month diet, slow, right? Only adds cardio when fat loss is stalled, maintains weight, goes down weight incrementally, little by little, and the biggest difference from being skinny and lean is lean means you starved yourself with a shit ton of protein. And I mean like almost 200 grams a day for a 150-pound midget. If you're starving to death with 200 grams of protein, this is how the body starts to look. But it will get soft if your deadlift, bench, squat isn't strenuous. And if you're starving, you can't lift heavy. That's the trickiest part of natural bodybuilding, is all of your lifts have to remain almost the same. You're not going to add reps, but that's the hardest part of natural bodybuilding, is maintaining strength while you're starving on high protein. Is this healthy? No, your hormones get fucked up. It's healthy if you're strategic, right? Because then you reverse diet back to normal, right? And the beautiful thing about men, I haven't had, or both, but I'll say men mostly. The beautiful thing about dieting is after you do 4 perfect diets and stuff, your body does, your base form does look different every time, right? And I had no idea, right? But the way, like in high school, you held more belly fat, and then as adult, maybe you held less of it, and you're like, I wonder why. I used to have this problem, and it kind of changed. It's because you went through a bunch of cuts and stuff, right? The body can shift a little bit, not too much, but yeah. But this is an extreme case. And if you're wondering if this guy has good genetics, he loses weight at 3,200 calories a day. That's why his muscles aren't starved, flat, and soft, right? He has an extremely high metabolism. Does that mean it's easy for him? No, because he has to eat so much fucking protein that you'll throw up. High protein diet is so... People think they get a lot of protein. I had a bit of steak. High protein is very hard to do, right? Also, it ages you, right? But you do get shredded, right? But check this out. Who actually believes this natural here is less lean than Mr. claiming 5? Right? He's claiming 5. He's lying. Berto goes on a DEXA scan, and he's at 6. If Birdo's at 6, then your favorite, the guy you have a crush on at your gym, that means he's at 12 to 14. Right? That means everyone in this chat who thinks they're at 15% body fat is at 18. Right? Yeah, I've heard people say Dex is not accurate. For him,
Oh, bro, what's your body fat? So I've definitely heard both of those a few times in my day, and because of that, more so, not necessarily to please those inquiries, but more so just out of sake of curiosity.
also another thing for the like young bodybuilders in chat, getting from 20% to 15% body fat, anyone can do it. But when you're at the last 10 pounds, you're stuck for life. Like, you won't know what to do. You'll be pinching yourself and crying. You'll be pinching the fat and going, how do I do this? How do I do this? Right? Obviously, it gets harder the leaner you get. That's why he's so impressive to me.
Friendly care package
I
inbound.
went to go get
His
my body fat
triggering
tested
Midas
via
donated
DEXA scan,
$5.
and
Via
I went
Let's
with
John.
the DEXA scan because
Boom. 6% after 10 years of perfect lifting, perfect diet, and this guy has high protein even when he's gaining. But it's hard to believe, but yeah, this is the only natural the only person who doesn't have that androgenic look, right?
I believe out of all the methods out there, it's probably.
And if you're thinking this looks too impressive, he only looks like this 1 hour of the day or 45 minutes of the day after a refeed. Most of the day he looks like a cyclist. And not to shit on him, but when you're a natural and you get this lean, everyone thinks you're doing a marathon, right? He's one of the best coaches ever, yeah. We had a falling out. He once said, like, fuck you, Zherka, and shit, just because I laughed at him because he said Doug Miller is natural. And I laughed at him. I'm like, bro, I lost all respect for you. I was like a hater, I guess. But he knows his shit.
The most accurate under most.
Who believes this is Natty, right? He's got a lot of haters who go bullshit. But, I mean, we've seen him cut at 3,200 calories. It's a pretty intense metabolism, right? And he's not even good compared to his competition.
Most circumstances.
This is Natty. Yeah, this is. Think of your veiny, lean friend if he worked out for 10 years perfectly and strategically starved himself for 11 months on 200 grams of protein. He wouldn't look like this, right? Everyone looks different. But, yeah, we have some veiny friends, right?
And, yeah, just to get some numbers. Because, you know, as much as I really don't care about numbers.
Another thing about bodybuilding is... it's all revealed when you stand next to someone. So nobody believes he's natty, but this is him on stage. Right? This is him on stage next to someone else with better genetics, better structure, better muscle bellies. So standing alone, carved up in windowsill lighting, morning lighting, yeah, you can look impressive, but he's on the left. So you think this guy's natural, but this guy's not. It's the same person, dude.
Numbers can be, you know, fun and rather cool. So we went to go get my body.
That's why, like, I spent so much time learning about this that people like Destiny genuinely piss me off. Because Destiny said he yelled at me for 4 hours that anyone can achieve this, right? And you know this kid doesn't know what he's doing in there.
Body fat tested, and you know, to put a number on.
Look at this, striated glutes, right? The last place your body holds fat is the ass. He was him and a few other guys were the first people to have striated glutes in a natural show. That means there's no body fat on his ass, right? And it is flat. It's not full like a roided ass. But look at the graininess too. you know. And if you were to ask Berto, like, what's the worst thing about getting this lean is he can only sustain it for a month, less than a month, and then he has to climb back up. And for the rest of his life, he feels fat. Because if you go to 6%, 10% is going to feel obese to you. You'll be embarrassed.
This look.
Yeah, this is a 11-month diet, so it's super impressive. But that's a 6%, right?
Velcro, right?
See, when you're 6%, your arms, your legs is a permaflex look, and every muscle feathers. Like, you see my shoulders, right? I'm nothing. I don't even train that much anymore, like once, twice a week. But he'll be flexed. He'll look like he's flexing when he's relaxed, right? Because there's no fat, dude. He's just an anatomy. He's like 5'8", I think. Great
I
legs.
have a problem if you end up hearing me in this. I don't
Okay.
care. We got a whole bunch of YouTube videos
Oh,
out
okay.
there. Okay. Arms in tight by your side like a soldier. Okay, you have to hold this position. I know your arms are. It's gonna hurt, but it's this.
It's objective sport.
All right.
He came back.
Now, this is the same guy. Look how unimpressive. When you get lean and you put a shirt on, people are like, did you stop lifting? Right? Once I got so lean that people thought I had cancer because I had a big shirt on. They're like, did you stop lifting and stuff like that? I was like, wow, that hurt.
Back in here to go over it with you. Called dual X-ray absorptiometry. It sends X-ray through.
70% of a muscle is water, that intracellular water, right? So when you're dieting, you become very flat and you look like a marathon runner. So look how much he preserved. This is so impressive.
Through you, and it was actually underneath you, shooting up into the top arm thing that was past
This is
you.
really
Everyone thinks
impressive.
It's going the other direction,
Yeah.
but it's coming from the bottom. Okay?
Another thing, he looks like shit when he's not tanned. A tan adds like 10 pounds of muscle on the eyes. Like tans are very based, right?
It's bouncing off of.
Look,
the-
watch him put the
three
shirt
main
on,
things,
right?
Bone, fat, and muscle. It's really all that it sees. So it made every ounce of you one of those three.
Notice how he has no traps, right? All your androgen receptors are here. That's why everyone juicing has giant traps and delts. He has nothing, right? Which makes him very natty in my eyes, right? Also, he hasn't had big masculine changes on his face or anything like. Have you? All those fitness guys we used to watch on Instagram, their faces changed. Have you noticed that? Like, they changed a lot, right? Or if you look at rest in peace Z's at 21 years old gearing versus 23 is like a whole different face, right? Because when you think of this little amount of hormones can change someone into transgender, right? Can shift their whole appearance. But now Z's wasn't taking this much. He was taking like maybe 10 full needles a day, they were saying, like a lot, right? So the change in the face goes hard. Berto's face has never really aged, changed. Nothing has happened to it. That's another sign that, that's why I vouch for him. I'm like, he hasn't had any of those signs of. The only real sign he has of gear is the leanness, right? That's it.
Three things. Okay. So your bone density came back.
Look at
obviously
that.
very
See,
good.
if he puts a shirt on, he looks like he doesn't even lift. That's a bodybuilder. So imagine you, right? That's why this sport naturally is very depressing.
Because you're a bodybuilder. Anyone
Right.
who does exercises. that
But the
make-
beautiful thing about bodybuilding naturally is you can do it till you're like 60 years old and you get, you look good. You don't like die or have health complications.
muscle pull bone makes for more bone, right? Swimmers don't always have as good a bone density because they're weightless all the time. 30 years old is sort of the age in which we achieve.
Now look at this. If he didn't have the high protein as he's starving himself to death, he wouldn't look that lean. If his bench goes down in weight as he's dropping all this fat, he doesn't look this hard. He starts to look like shit, right? How can you bench your off-season bench when you're 30 pounds under what you actually are. Think about that, right? MMA fighters have this where they get so lean to make weight, but they still, if let's say I'm training an MMA fighter, right? And he makes the weight, but he starts punching lighter on the bag, like, you know, I'm doing mitts and he's hitting lightly. You have to say, hey, you can't fight. You can't go into this fight. You're going to die. So an MMA fighter has to hit just as hard as he did at 155 at 145, right? That's why steroids are magic, right? If you want to add 10 pounds to your bench, gain 10 pounds. It's that simple. You want to add 10 pounds to your punch, gain 10 pounds, right? But if you can get lean and fight the smaller guys with the same punching power, yeah. That's why there's this whole debate about people like Conor. Like, how special is Conor? Because he doesn't really have it at 170. His walk-around weight is not even 170. It's higher. But at 170, Conor isn't this one-shot machine. But at 145, he's the most scary first. For anyone you fight first round, he would be the scariest at that time, right? But against Diaz, that's why it was so impressive that he did like drop Diaz a few times. I was like, wow, he's doing it at 170, right? He does hit hard. But yeah, Manny Pacquiao is a man who was knocking out people heavier than him while he's going up in weight. That is the clearest sign of steroid use. I'm not a Pac-Man hater. I think they all juice, right? For millions of dollars, obviously. Bro, the guys at the gym who are in debt are juicing. You're telling me the millionaire guys aren't? That's why getting caught with juice is a slap on the wrist. Because everyone wants to see juice heads. You are not allowed. You're allowed to juice in some boxing leagues too. Yeah, okay.
Most bone, okay?
Okay. So it's downhill from here, basically.
That's right.
Yeah, see this look? Right? Super impressive. But this is the peak. This is if you're born with a cutting metabolism of 3,000 calories. And you did everything right for 10 years. Because it's a like old man sport, natural bodybuilding. Right? Natural bodybuilders actually look better at 40 years old than they did at 30. That's really hard to believe because of the declining testosterone people talk about and shit. But compare who's winning these fucking shows, right? But yeah, that's why I think natural fitness is looking under good lighting, straighted glutes, everything. This is so impressive. But yeah, and then this is him at 180, very lean, 160, shredded. Although to us, his 180 is considered shredded, right? But to him, it's not enough to be on stage, right? And this was his dirty bulk when he was a fat fuck, right? Now look at this, Mike O'Hearn. Mike O'Hearn to this day is the only guy still claiming natural. $10,000 times more impressive than the late Rich Piana. He is so fucking stupid. I don't think he's stupid that he claims natural. I think it's stupid that in this video he says something that leaks everything, right? In this video with Rich Piana is like, you're not training for a show or anything. He's like, no, I love this. I'm just like this year round. He maintains this shrink wrap look year round. Not even on juice can you do that. So it's pretty impressive genetics, right? You know what I mean? His physique got better as he aged. Don't be an idiot. That's not what I'm saying. Don't be an idiot. When you're a natural, you know that 25 pounds you gained from your first year of lifting, 10 to 25 depending on who you are, That's it. That's the only toy you get in life. Right? That's it. There's no, I'm 30, here's the next 25 pounds. Hey, I'm 40, here's the next 25. That's a fugazi put in your head by fitness media. After your first 25 pounds gained at the gym, that's it. There's no Super Saiyan 2. Every human gets either their 10 pounds from the gym or their 25, and that's it. The rest, you're focusing on appearance, how lean you get, how strong, blah, blah, blah. But that's it, right? So when people are like, oh, I'm going to train 8 years and then go on juice, how different are you going to look at year 8 from year 7 and year 6? Not at all different. However, the discipline will be different, right? That's why you should extend it before you juice. You do the 8 years of natural training before juice for the discipline, so you get the most out of juice without, right? But if you are disciplined, right? This is not black pill. This is not. There's 220 pounds lean is not a thing. Okay, what is he at? Isn't he heavier? Wait, can I gain more muscle? I've been training 2 years straight now, but 4 years on and off. Look, dude, there's you, and then there's the you that everyone goes, wow, you put on some muscle, right? That second you never changes, right? He can be a little more impressive and stuff, but you never get newbie gains again. That's not black pill at all, right? The rest of your life is just mastering your diet and finding your cozy spot of body fat, right? But yeah, for some reason, most men think after they gain 25 pounds in their first year of lifting that the second year is going to be another 10. When have you ever seen anyone do that naturally? Never. Okay? That's like shit our dads used to tell us to keep us motivated and shit. But look at this, man. What these... And you know what's funny is as much gear as it's running through his veins, right? With one pill, this man would be more impressive than all of us juicing with everything. That's how good his genetics are. So the real black pill is genetics, right? Right. If you look at, dude, this guy is the uncrowned king. This guy did not train in bodybuilding for 8 months of the year. He'd just go party. And then he'd say, hey, I'm doing a show. So he trained for only 3 months of the year on steroids. And this is the difference. Get ready for the real black pill. This guy would never train until he signs up for a show. That's why juicing is more about finding the synergy of chemicals that work for you and reaching your cruising speed, right, of juice. That's really what it's all about, right? That if you have two guys with good genetics, one trains year round and the other doesn't train at all, right? But he knows how to peak better. Yeah, that's Kevin Levrone, right? But a lot of people don't have the genetics to do what he does. He's like an anomaly. But when he's natty, he looks like trash. Still, though, to me, Kevin Levrone is uncrowned Mr. Olympia, like in the old days. Yikes. I think he's number one, Dorian and Ronnie for me. And then when he's an old man, he tried it again. Wasn't as impressive, but I think this is him at like 45 years old. Oh my God. Look at this thing. Right? So the biggest component of juicing is how your genetics respond to chemicals. Right? Have you ever met a guy at your gym who's juicing and he looks like garbage? Yeah, you should tell him to quit. Right? See, Joe Rogan, He's been on gear. Joe Rogan plays dumb, but he's touched Anadrol. He's been on TRT. And this is considered good. But it is a genetics game, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you don't believe it's a genetics game, have you ever seen a crackhead more shredded than your favorite Instagram model? I swear to God, I was putting the tables away at Blarney Stone after work, and some crackhead in an alley took his shirt off in front of me, and I almost cried. I know that guy didn't have money for food. He's the most shredded, muscular, veiny, full. I was thinking, should I switch to meth? What PED is this guy on? Right? Because I was looking at fitness models, not really bodybuilders. And I'm like, that guy could do so good in fitness modeling, right? He is chiseled, right? So people who want to do the whole, John, it's not all about genetics. Explain the crackhead that is more shredded than fitness models, right? Right? And then if I went up to him, right, and I said, is it meth? If he said, nah, I do crack, or I do something else, I wouldn't even be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, I have a feeling you could do that sitting on a couch. Like, your genetics are just better than everyone's.
That's right. Wrong. All right.
Right. So the score for a 30-year-old for the bone density portion in terms of their T-score would be a 0. So it's called the young adult mean. It's a 0 right here, okay? So your bone density came back at 3.4. So if this were normal at 30, this is you over here. Okay, so way, way, way above normal.
Nice.
And that's good because for the remainder of your time, you're really only going this direction. So we want to be as far away from the red zone
This is
as
my
we can.
retirement plan for bone density.
That's right. You have extra in your bank account.
Wearing a shirt, he looks like XQC. Right? This is the truth that my clients used to come up to me and be like, I want to get shredded. And I'm like, you're not going to like your own body when you are shredded. Like, I'll get you there, trust me. But you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to hate doing it, and you're going to hate the mirror. Right? It's, yeah.
Okay, so you get this cool skeletal image here.
Okay.
And then you get this image here, which is sort of a map of body fat.
Check this out.
And red areas of fat show up.
I've
red.
never seen a chart like this, right? So where's this rat? Where's that fuck this little bitch? Where's the Athlean X guy? Who said that in chat? Scam Lean X, right? This guy is claiming 5%. This guy's claiming 5%. And Birdo's only at 6. And Birdo has striated glutes and veins running across his
Dre
stomach.
Drexler donated $5. What are the people in prison taking? Or their prison routine?
Believe it or not, the people in prison look so impressive because, one, they're always eating maintenance or deficit, right? So they are lean. 2, their workouts are, these are the highest. The prison population is filled with low IQ, high testosterone males. Like, there's studies on this, right? I'm one of them, right? I used to get in a lot of trouble, right? Low IQ, high testosterone gets you pretty much, you know, it ruins your life. You have to find something to get your, like, to not fucking go to prison, right? You have to find something, right? And the IQ doesn't mean shit, right? IQ is not important, but that's usually who's in prison, right? Number 2, right? Number 2, if they're eating maintenance and they've already leaned out from being in prison, their higher testosterone, their aggression, that's why they're in prison, make their workouts better. Even if they don't have the right equipment, their workouts are better than yours, right? Okay? So 1, they're beating you on genetics. 2, their workouts are straining their central nervous system more. And number 3, they do deal drugs in prison, right? I'm not saying but they do take like a tablet of D-bol or something, very little, right? They just take pills, right? And they respond better than anyone else, right? a lot of guys who take D-ball who are not in prison, they have nothing to do all day. They're unemployed, so they just keep eating and get fat, and they look like they don't even lift. In prison, you have a regimented diet that is not high calorie, so you're always lean, whether you're trying or not, right? That's why they look so perfect. They look like they've been training, right? But when those guys get out of prison, they do look less impressive because they gain more fat, lose more muscle contours, lose veins, hold more water, eat more junk food, stuff like that. But that regimented meals plus workouts and a bit of their D-balls that they take is like the ultimate system for them. But out of prison, they do gain weight. They gain a belly, right? So prison is like you want to get shredded, it is routine, dude.
Red color, you clearly have none. Medium.
That's why I always recommend men live with men. When men live with women, they become very fat and ugly. When men live with men, everyone is the most shredded they can be, right? The sharpest they can be. They're always in a competitive environment. Even if they're playing chess, they do better in business. Men need to be in men's clubs, not just sports, right? If you're slacking and you're in an all-male academy, you're still doing better than the average male by tenfold. If you're slacking. So imagine if you're trying, right?
Is usually yellow and you have none. There's a little bit down here on your ankles, not because
Most YouTubers and streamers channels who die is because they get a girlfriend and live with her. But most channels that pop off is a bunch of men living together under one roof, right? Men are obsessed with analytics, that if your numbers go down, you get clowned on. But when your numbers go down living with a woman, she gives you chocolate cake, right? It actually makes you into a worse human being to live with your crush, right? You're not supposed to live with your crush or your wife. You're not supposed to live with her. You're supposed to live in the office and see her when you need a break. But what I'm saying is super controversial, apparently, or whatever, right? That's why if you're not a real man unless you have a lock on your room, right? Your girlfriend is not allowed in your room if it's work time, right? And you're not a real man if you go out there to get food. Fill up your room with food so you don't have to leave, right? If you go out there and she's wearing something sexy, that's it. It's over. You could go back to your meeting and you're not even thinking right, right? People can sense you're like off your square.
because there's fat there, but because there's nothing else there, right? Okay. It's just bone, right? That's what ankles are. So this is sort of just a green body.
He has a whole green body. I've never seen a DEXA scan this impressive.
Typically, they don't look like this. They have red around the hips. So that's what you and I would look like. But that's really a lean image right there. Okay. So this next page is all of the body composition information about you. No,
dude, regardless what people like to lie and tell you, the number one reason a woman leaves a man is never because he spends too much time at work and ignores her. That is a Hollywood lie. Or else a lot of businessmen would be crying, right? But they don't cry. Their wives are at home. That is the number one reason they leave you is because you're with them all the time. The familiarity is disgusting to them. You could chill with your brother for an hour, but if you chill with him on a road trip, he's going to get on your nerves, right? It's like that. Also, another reason not to chill with your crush too much is she's gonna fuck with your vision by accident. No human can see what you're seeing. If you have a very, very creative mind, don't stay around anyone. Right? don't stay around anyone. If you're doing good, just keep doing good.
We broke you into parts: arms, legs, your trunk, your abs, your hips and your butt, and your total. Okay? The way those regions are defined are by the white lines here on your body. Okay, so your arms and legs, right and left. You're on your back in this picture right here. Okay. Right, left. Okay? Your trunk is really your center. So it goes from the neck down to this line here at your hips.
Yeah, I've never seen a DEXA scan this impressive. Like, wow.
Okay, so it's the center. So it's all of this in here. All
You know what we'd be on this DEXA scan, dude? Holy shit. You'd be ashamed to do this test. Right? And if you are lean, you'd be ashamed of how weak you are.
This is your trunk, down to this line right here. Okay? The next word on the list is android, and it starts with an A, and it means ab.
It all depends on the women you get, bro. Not all are bad. Some women can help with your vision. Oh my God. I'm not saying women are bad. I'm saying the whole world and everything in media is making you soft. The last thing you want to do is add to your soft programming by staying around your crush a lot. Right? It's just like sugars. No matter how much you cut them out of your diet, they'll find their way in there. Right? It's better to cut back. Right? This channel is for late teens and young men. Okay? We don't want comfort. I did a 22-hour stream. You think that's comfortable? We don't talk about comfort here. Okay? She's helping me with my vision. You're a cuck, bro. She's helping me with my vision. No, if you're truly based, she won't even know what the fuck your vision is. The fuck? Some of you have this brain where you're like, I'm a boxer and I talk to my wife about boxing. You think Floyd Mayweather talks to his lady about boxing? No. He sees her, it's playtime, stress relief, whatever. But when Floyd is around his boys, he goes, Canelo ain't got that jab. Canelo ain't got that jab. Right? It's just not there. It's just, he's obsessed with it. Bro, he will never waste his time going, honey, what do you think of Canelo? That's what a fucking idiot does. Okay? And if your wife is a good boxer, he still won't do that. He'll talk to pros. Right? I was like the most out of shape guy in my gym, and I went up to the guys competing with their pro cards, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to compete in your show and I'm going to beat you guys. And they all laughed. They're like, man, you're the funniest guy here. I'm like, I'm going to chill with you guys. And I just followed them around the gym like a loser. I just kept following them around, doing what they did, chilling with them. These guys are like 30 years old, right? And they're like making fun of me. They're like, when you going to start? When you going to start? Ha, ha, ha. And I'm just, for months and months, just accumulating information on roids online. Because I was like, I don't want my first cycle to be 10 pounds. I want it to be like 20. So I impress people, right? I used to walk around talking like this. And all my friends are like, dude, why do you chill with old men that do nothing? Like, those guys are construction workers and drug dealers, right? And they compete at a show, big deal. They're like losers. And I'm like, no, I'm going to compete with them. And everyone would laugh at me and shit. Yeah. And then summer came, and within a month I gained 70 pounds. And every single one of those guys were like, is that John? And I walked in so fucking jacked, 260 pounds lean. I'm going to compete at your show. And then they start sweating. They're like, really? Really? And Gerp, who is my coach, he's spotting me with bench. He didn't even train. He just comes spot me, right? My coach, he's like, Zherka's going to dust you guys. He's 21 years old. He's going to dust you clowns. And these guys got so fucking angry. Everyone started working out harder and shit. I'm going to dust them. I went from Maple Story Gaming to right in chilling with the pros. And everyone's like, what the fuck? This kid. I had no girlfriend, no nothing, just internet, and just, what's the best cycle to run, right? And then they'd start letting me in on their cycles, and I would correct them. I go, actually, you want to use bioidentical chemicals, right? Because your body's used to it. If you're trying to replicate a second puberty, I don't really recommend you use those compounds. And these stupid fucking meatheads were so angry at me, right? And their pride wouldn't let them say it. They'd be like, well, what are you on? And I go, I'll tell you after the show. And I literally, the best physique in my gym within 2 months. Like the most impressive. My whole city was like, what the fuck? Ignored every girl in the gym trying to flirt with me and shit. Obsessed. I was like freaking obsessed, right? And these idiots kept taking more of the same juice, right? And yeah, I used to talk like that all the time. That's why people used to find me hilarious, right? I still do it sometimes. But then I started helping them out. I'm like, I said, if you run a lot of this steroid, it still gives you less gain than running a little bit of two roids that work synergistically. And these stupid meatheads were like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, well, let's just look at the studies, right? You're on trenbolone, and so am I, but you're flatter than me. And you've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm better than you. Why am I better than you? Because I looked at cattle studies of cows taking a bit of trenbolone so that the farmers could save on the amount of food they'd give the cows and they'd still grow, right? I'm like, if you look at the cattle studies, right, tren only works with higher estrogen. That's what they need to be together. And a lot of people don't get that, right? And I would bring printed sheets of cattle studies, cows, to show these guys. And these guys couldn't tell if I'm memeing or not because I speak in a funny way. And I'm like, I'm not memeing. You need to do D-ball with tren, or else you're getting half of tren, right? And for years, nobody understood it. I became friends with a guy named Derek, More Place, More Dates, and he's like, wow, you actually know that. Like, most people in Vancouver are stupid as fuck. I'm like, yeah, right? And I'd also tell them they'd want a higher red blood cell count as they're sleeping. So I said, save your Anadrol for bedtime, right? 1 tablet of Anadrol, because when your liver goes toxic, you can't eat as much, so you're missing out on gains. But you're not eating when you're asleep. So save your Anadrol for bedtime. But John, I want to be androgenic and angry during my workout. You still get that from your other roids. Increase your red blood cell count, right? And it's your only fasting time where you're not eating. Anadrol for bedtime. And these guys would start fucking, oh, bro, you got to train me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to train. No, I was 21 years old. What the fuck? You're like 35. You should train me, bitch. But that's the first time in my life I said, in any field, the biggest lie everyone's been told is that if someone's been doing it for 10 years, you cannot catch up because they put in the work. Bullshit. You find a way to work smarter, you can do 10 years of work in 1 year if you really wanted to, if you're smart enough, right? And it's the most black pilling thing too. Probably the best hack I ever had during my bodybuilding phase was I would save my gummy bears intra-workout for the, when my glycogen was full, I would bench more, meaning I burn more calories, right? I get more out of it. But also, my cardio was better, right? And I would get leaner with something in my stomach. I'm not saying I'm bloated in the gym or anything, but if something was digesting my stomach, right, that Stairmaster would burn way more calories for me, right? So when I started getting a lot leaner, everyone in my gym started bringing gummy bears and shit. They're like, oh, fuck, I thought you're supposed to do empty stomach cardio. And I'm like, empty stomach cardio makes sense when you're fat, but when you're already lean, right, when you're already lean, your biggest problem is stressing, having a stressful workout, because you started looking for shortcuts, you're tired, blah, 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 right? And I started manipulating glucose, right? I was like, okay, now I'm starting to understand that it's like basically if I wasn't a computer fucking obsessed nerd, I would have done 10 years of roids till I died. Or I could just catch up to them in 10 weeks. And I'm so glad I did research, you know? I'm so glad. I regret a lot of things, though. I did a lot of things wrong, too, you know? I do train. I train a couple of guys, but these are like high-paying dudes. And honestly, this is going to sound really weird, right? I hate naturals. I'm a natural and I hate them, right? And most people who will DM me are fucking natural. I will never, ever work with a natty. I don't know what it is about me, but I hate naturals, dude. Like, training a natural is the most depressing shit on earth. Because it's pretty much talking about his strength gains, right? Even when they have transformation pics for me and they use their little Instagram filters, I'm comparing it to my juice head client, and I'm like, God, this is just like so lame. Naturals like women. But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, basically I hate fitness. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Right. I feel like fitness should be about like being functional, being able to do stuff with it, you know? Yeah. Oh yeah, the moral of that story, right? All right, the theme of that was everyone in this chat would have juiced 10 years for that one show I was preparing for. But I didn't work out at all for half a year. I just Googled things. And I played catch up very quick. You know what I mean by that? So, I believe in grinding, but grinding also is telling you you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean by that? Yeah. Also, I don't believe you should take hormones if you're not competing at all. Like, I think it's so stupid. And why I was so cocky is everyone in my city was juiced, but no one was tall. You know? No one was tall, and if they were tall, they were kind of boring. You know what I mean? They didn't stick out. So I felt very cocky. I was like, dude, I'm fucking God tier, bro. But, yeah. What pre-workout do you think is the best? I like Gorilla Mind. But also, there's this one thing I used to like. It was called clenbuterol. Just than roids. You'll get heart palpitations and you'll die. Don't do it. But Canelo knows what I'm talking about. He got popped for clenbuterol. There was a boxer, I forgot who was losing his match, and his coach made him drink another bottle of water that had the clenbuterol in it, right? And you know, he got filled with oxygen and he cooked his opponent. We watched it on stream, actually. But yeah, I still like to read up on pharmacology and stuff, but now I like to learn about anti-aging stuff like that, you know, or cognitive support. Because if I don't learn about pharmacology, I waste a lot of time on politics, you know. And you don't want me to talk about Zionism. I'm kidding. All right, let's focus.
So your abs on this map right here, or this is this cut through here.
Dude, imagine if we all did DEXA scans, how depressed we'd be. He's all green. He has no body fat.
It looks like a belt up top.
Okay.
Okay? Gynoid is through the hips and the butt, and it's this big band down here through the hips and the butt. Okay? So that's how all of those white lines make those regions. You have two columns in this thing that show percent fat. You're going to ignore this first column because it includes bone marrow.
No, it should be illegal to take roids unless you have abs. If you have a six-pack and you take steroids, it's like going through 10 cycles in 1 month. It's so fucking impressive, right? When my natural clients were shredded lean and they said, yo, I'm joining the dark side. And I'm like, yeah, bro, shut the fuck up. And they'd actually join the dark side, lean as fuck. It was so impressive. But when my fat guys would do it, they look like garbage, man. They'd get gyno, they'd squirt from their nipple, they'd lactate, they'd start crying to me on FaceTime, on the FaceTime calls. It was like very weird because the more fat you have, the more prone you are to these estrogenic side effects, right? But the shredded guys that were just skinny, they got on it, were immediately within a month fitness models, like before my eyes. I was so impressed. But their bones are so small that they weren't impressive in person. But on Instagram, they were so impressive, right? Yeah. Insulin, no, I've never done insulin, and I know it makes freaks, but did you know there's no safe way to take insulin? If you go hypo during your insulin shot and you go drink your orange juice or whatever, you have no idea how you're going to react, so you die. There's no safe way to take insulin, right? Like, there's no safe way, right? That they say Dallas choked on food and died to protect his reputation. No, he was trying to down that food because he went hypo. Another thing, right? A lot of people don't understand this, but when I first put on like 70 plus pounds in a month and a half, right? I started going hypo every 2-3 hours. I was a different human, right? If I didn't have something in my stomach, everything would get dizzy for me, right? A dude would be yelling at my face at the club, and I'd be like this, oh, dude, just chill out. And I'd start seeing 10 of him, right? So roids are very, very, very powerful. But insulin, that shit'll take your life, bro. If the roids don't, the insulin will, right? Insulin, I never touched it. Although I checked this website that has the craziest cycles, death cycles that people ran, and there's a mini cycle list, a medium cycle, a heavy cycle, and then the death cycles, and then the death cycles with higher doses. Dude, when I look through my phone of what I used to take, let's delete all bodybuilders, just talk about the average Joe. I'm in the top 10 death cycles on Earth. I didn't know that until I talked to Derek. And Derek has seen the worst cycles. And when I showed him mine, he's like, don't hold back. He was like, whoa. And my dosing wasn't as crazy, but the compounds I chose were all... Every compound I chose, side effect was death at medium dose, and I tripled the dose, right? And I've overdosed. I've been through it all, you know. I overdosed twice. One was really bad, but yeah. And my dumb ass would go to the gym smiling, because I'm like, I changed the most in 1 month. I caught up to your 10-year physique in 1 month. And the dudes would look at me like, dude, you were in the fucking... You called an ambulance, John. Like, you know? But, yeah. Okay. That's why black pill is dangerous. You know, when I got black pilled, I'm like, oh, time to gear up.
Well, that's fat you need to live, so we really don't want to lose it or count it.
Well, this guy
Your
is
total
insane.
body fat, and the reason you came here today, is 6.2%. Your body has 10.4 pounds of fat only, and 148.4 pounds.
Were you out of shape and went on gear? No, I was in shape.
3 pounds of you is bone mineral
I was
content.
okay.
Your whole skeleton weighs 8 pounds. For a total weight of 167 even.
What happened when you overdosed? I lied to the paramedics, and I went and overdosed again the same month. It's all on my phone somewhere. I think it's the same month. I went and overdosed again, and I doubled it this time. But the second one wasn't as bad as the first. So, but yeah. My heart used to race before I ingested all my drugs. Because it'd be like, don't do it. Don't do it. This is a death cycle. Don't do it. Well, I did it. You know? I was very strange. Didn't have one friend. Didn't talk to mom. Didn't talk to dad. Didn't talk to twin brother. Didn't talk to brothers. Didn't talk to my girlfriend. Just me and fucking bodybuilding forums and talking to random retards online that gave the worst advice ever. Right? They'd say shit to me like, we're all anonymous. They'd say shit to me like, okay, next time do this so you don't overdose. And he'd copy paste the same fucking cycle. And I'm like, bro, I just showed you the cycle that almost killed me. You didn't even take anything off. You added things to it. Yeah, but this one's gonna keep more water in you. You'll be less. You're not gonna dehydrate this time. I'm like, we're like a group chat of fucking retards, right? Half them in prison for a long time now. Just weirdos, dude. Just internet weirdos, right? All nerds. Every one of their profile pictures a nerd. All Redditors. Most of them never even did a cycle, right? And John probably did one cycle. No, after I overdosed, I went on the heaviest fucking cycle for like damn near a year. Yeah. That's why when people would DM me, they'd be like, yo, are you blasting and cruising? I'm like, no, I'm blasting. And they'd be like, Zherka, when are you cruising? I'm like, no, I'm blasting. Okay, which month are you cruising this year? No, I'm blasting. And they're like, what the fuck? When do you stop injecting? I'm like, oh, when I start throwing up too much. And they're like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Right? How long do you keep gains from a cycle? All of my friends lost everything and look like shit. I lost my whole Photoshop look, but now I'm considered jacked for the rest of my life. For some reason, my body just cannot, I could do anything to it and I'll always fill up a shirt, My delts changed forever. Arm size changed forever. Traps changed forever. Like, I was blessed by God. Right? How do I fix the mic? I wasn't blessed. I just kept eating a lot and shit. But yeah, the average person shouldn't do steroids. I am the average person, actually. I think the only thing that separates me is that I'm tall, right? You don't really see tall people. Hold on. How do I fix it? Maybe if I lowered it. How's this? No, I don't believe you can regain your natty card. My bones have always changed. I know I changed forever when I would start sparring as a natural, and everyone would tell me, dude, you're hitting just as hard as when you're on gear. Like, there's no way you're natural. I'm like, oh, it's been 6 months. I'm natty. And they're like, there's no way. And the people I lived with would be like, yep, he's natty. But before I changed, I didn't really when I punched, my wrist would hurt, so I wouldn't punch the bag. Like, ow. Super different. Yeah. My anaerobic capabilities changed forever, but my aerobic capabilities got worse. So long distance running got worse after gear, right? But high, fast twitch, punch someone's head off got better forever. Bones got denser, everything changed. It's like Captain America for me. Beard still grows. It's so weird. What's the worst side effects you got? Oh, this is the worst side effect I've ever experienced. This is the first time, because I was an atheist, and this is the first time I believed I believed in hell. Have you ever had a leg cramp where you start screaming and people in your house are like, "What's going on?" And for 20 seconds, it's the worst thing in the world? Yeah, okay. So check this out. When on my second overdose, I got that leg cramp feeling, but not for 20 seconds. You know the power cramp for 20 seconds? I had it on every muscle on my body at the same time. So it would start at the arm, then switch to the leg, then the other leg, then the chest, then the neck. Not for 1 hour. Not for 2 hours, which feels like 2,000 years. Not for 3 hours. Not for 4 hours. Not for 5 hours. 48 hours. I went through maybe 50 Gatorades, right? I would pee on my pants because I couldn't wipe my dick because I had to pee every 5 seconds. I went through 50 Gatorades with the paramedics looking at me, and the one paramedic who knew me could not believe how small my body was, because I wasn't, you know how 70% of the muscle is water, and I was so dehydrated. When it all cramped at the same time, my muscles doubled. Not in size, they shrunk double, right? So the paramedic was having anxiety because it looked like I'm a different human being, because every muscle was so shrunk. I couldn't flex my biceps. XUC arms, just XUC arms, right? And 48 hours of cramping. I'm crying, tears. My roommate's freaking out. And back then I didn't know what Percocets were. I was so stupid because I'm pretty sure I could have handled it better. But what caused it? I only took dry compounds, dehydrated myself, dieted hard, because I would go on mini diets. I'm like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. It'll take me like 3 days with drugs, right? And this is not even my worst overdose. But yeah, basically, this is the worst one that I remember, because I didn't have anything to, like, going back, I could have just really cranked the D-ball and it would have helped a bit, but I didn't know what I was doing, right? So I thought this one's the worst. Months later, right? And what caused it was clenbuterol. One pill would make your heart race for like 8 hours. And I think it was one pill, 25 mcg, right? Right? And bodybuilders will use like 2 a day. And in front of all my bodybuilder friends, I popped 12. 10, 12, whatever was left there. And they all freaked out when I downed it, because they thought I'm trolling. While on a bunch of trenbolone and Mastron, which really dries you out, and no food, in the scorching hot sun with no water, immediately threw up. But I was so used to throwing up. I used to just, oh, it's normal, whatever, I'm on gear. And this isn't even the worst one. There's a drug I don't mention that's rat poison and dynamite. That's the ingredients. And if you take, let's say, one pill, if you take 100 milligrams, the effects are so powerful, your whole body's hot, and you start staining your sheets, kind of this orangey sweat. It's radioactive, right? And I took 1,500 milligrams with 3,000 milligrams of trenbolone. They both make you hot. And 1,000 mgs of Mastron, 100 mgs of Winstrol, 100 mgs of Anavar, 75 mcg of T3 thyroid, which makes you really hot. There's a lot more shit, but I'm thinking of the killer stuff. And no, that 3,000 mgs of trend was like a one-time experiment. It wasn't like year-round or anything. Or else it would have been fucking wow. And that was the first time in my life I felt hell on earth. Right? It was so fucking hot. I couldn't sleep. I would be covered in ice bags. Couldn't catch my breath. Oven feeling. Pressure from every corner for 10 hours. Puking. And paramedics are like, just tell us what the fuck you're on. And I'm like, just a fever. It's just a fever. Because I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. But there was a lot more. I could go into my little booklet and find out everything I took. But I remember showing Derek. And Derek is like, that is the worst cycle I've ever read. And and his job is people sending him shitty cycles. Yeah. And I think I lost like 30 pounds in a week, which is so dangerous. And as soon as I finished, I cranked Deca high, right? And everyone in my gym was like, how did you do that? Like, how did you in 1 week lose a belly, get abs, get skinny, and fill out to be a bodybuilder in like a week and a half? And yeah, I was hacking hard, dude. And yeah, I talked to a therapist and he said, you know, you were trying to kill yourself. He's like, that's why none of your crazy friends ever did half the shit you did. Because they had friends, they had girlfriends, they had a social life. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, I think I was trying to win the bodybuilding show. And then my therapist was like, yeah, but did you attend the show? I was like, no, I pulled out. And he's like, exactly. And he says something so smart to me. He's like, you knew you were going to pull out. And I swear I did. Like a month before. But my whole city did freak out, you know. Like, I remember running into my ex and she's like, whoa, you're like a bodybuilder? You know, from Redditor to bodybuilder in like a month and a half. Yeah. But could you imagine puking four times a week and it's normal? As long as there's no blood, it's normal. You know, I used to bully friends too. I would ditch my friend Brad. And then I went to him with 4 syringes filled, 300 milligrams each of trenbolone acetate. And I said, poke my ass because I'm afraid of needles. And he said, I'll never do it. And I'm like, if you don't do it, I'll do it in this dusty garage. It was like a disgusting garage. And he's like, I'll never do it, bro. I love you, bro. I went to Tokyo. I live with you in Tokyo. I'll never do it. And I'm like, I'm going to do it myself and fuck it up. Fuck you. And I left this garage and he honked the parked cars. And he's like, get the fuck back here. Right? And he injected me with 3 of them. And I started getting tren cough, which is the worst thing ever. And I'm coughing blood all over his garage. Everywhere. Right? Heaving blood everywhere. And he's like frozen in fear. He can't believe it. And I'm like, stick the next syringe before I pass out. He's like, are you crazy? And I tren raged on him so hard. I said, do it, you fucking coward. Do it right now. And he's like, ah. And he stuck it in my ass, right? Imagine if you open this garage door and I'm half naked and there's like a dude older than me just with fucking needles and shit. And he's pushing it. And as he's pushing it, I'm coughing more blood. And I said, all of it, because I was so poor. I needed every drop. And then he pushed it all in. And I think I went for a walk. And I used to always be dehydrated and shit. And my doctor would say, you're going to die from dehydration, because even when you're hydrated, you're not. You know, it's really hard if you're 6'5" on all these chemicals to stay hydrated. It's impossible, right? I don't know how some people do it. Yeah, and then you know, I started researching more, and I'm like, oh, if I add D-bol, the side effects aren't that bad, and if I keep the test in, you know, and the whole time I did cycles, I never used testosterone. You know how bad that is? That means I was just putting horse roids in me without any human hormone, right? Like, I never once felt human, right? The test could have like really helped me out in the beginning, right? Yeah, I still remember why I quit bodybuilding. Aura nightclub, we got in a fight with guys. I hurt one guy hard. I didn't knock him out. I hurt him hard, but I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe after I hit him, and I got jumped by his buddies. Not jumped. I mean, it's our job to fight these fucking idiots. And I couldn't breathe, and as everyone's on top and wrestling and punching each other, I'm like, let me breathe, let me breathe. And it was like that club squishing feeling, and that drowning feeling. Not like in a fight drowning, like I actually can't breathe because of chemicals and stuff. I was 265 pounds, 270. And nobody saw, obviously, but everyone knew, because you have to write an incident report. And I know I'm on camera. And I didn't want to show up to work because I knew these guys are going to come back within the month. Kelowna guys, they're always there buying bottles. And every time they came back, they'd fuck us up. That's why we'd have to change doormen. People would quit, and then it would be peace times. But I was like, I need money. I can't quit this job. I got fired from the last one. That's why they transferred me here. I dropped 40 pounds, super skinny, super natural. I think I only touched one drug, and it was called halotestin, a little tic tac that doesn't change your physique at all. And so I was the only natural, and these roided up guys came back. And fight 2 starts, not because of me, but the Yelp reviews say otherwise. And I fucked up these juice heads, bro. I was the greatest fighter in the universe that night. I never thought me throwing across can extend my body. Every punch I threw, my legs would fly out. It's like there was a rocket on my fucking elbow pushing me forward, right? And I beat the shit out of them. Like, dude, 3 guys versus 2 bouncers plus more coming, right? And my coworker was so shocked at my speed. I was fucking lighting them up, right? And they didn't even recognize me at first because I lost so much weight, right? And you know how I was obsessed with watching bodybuilders? I spent months before they came, it was like 2 months, only watching MMA, right? And I'm like, why did they do weight cuts? Why does a fighter, you know? And then when I found out, oh, it's because you don't want to gas out, you know? You don't want to hit someone hard and then his buddies come and stuff. So I stopped weightlifting, only sparred, only did cardio, and popped that halotestin at the club, which makes you slur like your words. It's the most androgenic thing you could take, right? It's insane, right? But it doesn't change your appearance or anything. It just makes you go bald, right? And that's why bald people can scrap, right? They be on roids, bro. And these guys I was fighting were on so much juice, but they couldn't handle me. And that's the first time I said, oh, MMA fighters don't take a lot. They take for performance enhancement, not cosmetic, right? And I got obsessed. I used to do cocaine and watch John Jones reruns, just like this. Why is he doing that? Why is he resetting? Why did he change stances? Okay, don't watch the stance change because I can't do that. I'll never be able to do that. Focus on the shit I can do, and I would just watch John Jones for hours on fucking cocaine, right? And when you're doing stuff with dopamine, you learn faster, right? That's why if you're not interested in school, right, you fail your classes. There's no dopamine, right? I'm kidding. It was Adderall. But yeah, that started my obsession with John Jones, right? Obsessed with. I felt like John Jones, except I've never been on the back foot ever since. You know, I felt like Tyson from Beyblades. His stats in Beyblades was all offense, no defense. That's how I felt. But yeah, I remember going to a gym and looking at the weights and going, I'm never touching that shit again. You know, and we'd go with these bouncers and all do drugs and fight in these garages next to in English Bay. So daytime we'd have beers and shit, but nighttime the ketamine guy would fight the Molly guy would fight the Percocet guy, right? There'd always be one meth head who doesn't fight. He's just watching, right? But all the junkies of the city would meet there. The girls, right? When all the girls would actually be turned off. They'd be like, this is kind of cringe. Like, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I remember 260 pounds. I was afraid to spar. And then when I lost the weight and felt like a skinny guy, everyone would be like, yo, let me get Zherka. And I'm like, oh, you don't want me now that I'm skinny. Right? That's why when that bodybuilder guy on Kiana's show was like, Zherka's skinny. Like, I could take him. I'm like, dude, when I was bodybuilding, maybe. Right now, you cannot take me. Right now, like I feel like a feather right now. Like I will fly to you. But anyways, fighting made me hate bodybuilding. Hate it. Dude, are you making shit up as you go? Dude, all my streaming career, people would say I was lying about being a bouncer. I did one IRL stream with Big Tony and all the doormen, and nobody, like all those guys who said I'm lying about being a bouncer, just subscribed, and they never talked about it again. And I'm like, no way. I'm perma-banning, dude. I am perma-banning these guys. I banned a lot of subscribers. A lot. Like, I thought I'd get a trophy for going to the club and risking a ban for that shit. Yeah. How do we get here? Oh, yeah. Functional strength. Bodybuilding is stupid, but it looks cool.
Your trunk. The next word on the list is Android Hero. This is, you have two codes, bone or calorie percent, only 8 pounds. For
Did your hair fall out? Oh, yeah. I have some old photos. Dude, I lost 40% of my hair from roids. I didn't even know what good hair was back then. Like, I didn't know hair's supposed to be crunchy and shit. You know what I mean? And now it's like this whatever the fuck.
Friendly care package inbound.
Sincerely, Fate
You know what I mean?
donated $20. Blessed plus based equals blast kek.
Yeah, like seriously, dude, roids scalp you, right? And I remember my mom said, she said, you have holes here in your head. And I would look in the mirror and I'm like, whoa. Like, it doesn't happen when you're on cycle or anything. It happens when you're off cycle and it randomly just one day, you know, your hormones are trying to get back to normal and then you're just like done. And yeah. The weirdest thing is that I regrew hair. Right? Like after a year and a half or two, my mom's like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't even know. I just stopped drinking, drugs, everything bad. And it regrew. And then I tried Rogaine. And that shit brought 20% back. It was super impressive, right? Super responder to it. And then a bit of dutastride for like 7 months, which really helped. Or maybe I should get back on that one. But also, I never talk about this, right? I always talk about looks because I don't like ugly people. But basically, to get my inheritance, I had to show my dad medical work. So I had to go to LA. I had to go to a lot of places before that. And there's a lot of times where I wasn't streaming because I was doing this shit. And let's just say I got one moderator to Photoshop a lot of my results. So one day I get a lot of money from my dad. How did your beard transform anabolics? I could never grow facial hair, and then after my first cycle, it just, after the 10th week, it started growing in. Yeah. Yeah, I always tell this story because I have this hate for bodybuilding, like this whole natural bodybuilding shit. I was on roids for like a year, but I think I did. In 1 year, a man will do 1 cycle. In a year, I think I did 6. Like, I was never off. I was kept changing compounds and shit. Hold up. Should I show you guys my OBS? Oh, another thing. I'm not going to lie. Roids made me a lot better looking. Besides the hair thing. A lot better looking. But that's because I had baby features. So it made me really masculine, angular on the face. 99% of people who do roids become uglier. I'm blessed. Right? What do you think the best first cycle is? I don't even believe in hormones. I believe you should only use bioidentical stuff if you're going to be on shit. Test, growth, that's it. If you can't do it with that, then just quit. But I don't believe in taking, did trend deepen your voice. Right now it's squeaky. On Trenbolone, your voice is so different. It's like no woman would smile talking to me. They start biting their lip and shit. Like I had this very different voice. Like it demanded authority. And another thing that's weird, no one knows this. The oily look you get from Tren, I swear to God, women smell it. Without talking to them, they start acting like very, very horny. Right? Hold on. Okay, here's my OBS. What are we trying to fix here? Where do I go? Mixer? Is that where Ninja is? Yeah, like pheromones, yeah. I actually hate talking about roids because I'm like, what if someone's inspired to do it and they're just bald and fat and they're like, oh, Zherka, what the fuck? You know, like, it's kind of like when I did roids, I'm like, I never turned into Canute. So it was a waste of time. The only thing that I liked is that my weight went up, so when people punched at me on the street, I didn't get knocked out, you know? My neck was reinforced, you know? Like, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Okay, without saying names, most men on roids are betas. I swear their woman runs the house and shit like that. You'd be surprised. You'd be really surprised, dude. Most men on roids are very beta. Have you ever seen a roided out beta? It's just an angry beta. 99% of my buddies who took roids, their girls cheated on them. Okay, Canute's a good example of someone who's based, like he doesn't have that problem, but it's not because of roids that Canute's like that. People think roids make you masculine. That's not true at all. Okay, yeah, they do make you like more of what you are, whatever. They amplify it. They're an amplifier. But I've seen a lot of juice heads freeze in a street fight. Like they're terrified and they're bigger than me. Okay? That whole go to war mindset, you can't inject that. You know what I mean? I feel like an incel who turned into a Chad because of chemicals. And That's why I don't ever talk about tradcon shit too much, because I have lived a very sinful life. You know what I mean? I'm like, I went into the desert and became like evil.